And with our first story that we have over here, actually for the first couple of stories, they are going to be related to news that actually happened last weekend. More specifically, that they did happen on Sunday. So I figured, you know what, even though it has technically been a week, might as well go and highlight that because they definitely are worth talking about. And the first of these stories that I would like to discuss is going to be about the Golden Globe Awards. Yes, it is official. The 2020 award season has officially begun with the Golden Globe Awards. Now, I know that when it comes to the Golden Globes, nobody necessarily really cares all that much. It's not necessarily that huge of a deal. And I mean, even like the celebrities who attend there, like even when people go to the Golden Globes, they knew that it's not that big of a deal. I mean, even with Ricky Gervais as the host, like he knows what he's doing, even though like he's trying to be as edgy and provocative and shocking with his humor and stuff like that. He knows it's because the Golden Globes is the place where you can do that because, well, nobody cares about the freaking the Golden Globe Awards. It's the place where celebrities and filmmakers all get drunk and shoot crap at each other, you know? It's just Ricky Gervais going on stage going, I know that I am edgy and provocative, but I really don't care. In fact, I care as much about what I'm saying here, as much as what people think about the Golden Globes. So yes, I am edgy, and I could be bloody political as much as I want, but I really don't care. It's the Golden Globes. Everybody's drunk. Nobody's going to be remembering this anyways. So, with that said, the big thing, though, that people would actually care regarding the Golden Globes is regarding who won. Who are the big winners of this year's Golden Globes? Well, if there is one specific winner that is meant to be highlighted here, it would have to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, there are a variety of winners. There's everybody walking away with like a Golden Globe or two, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood managed to walk away with a total of 3 of them, in which it won for Best Picture for a musical or comedy, Best Supporting Actor for a musical or comedy for Brad Pitt, and also for Best Writing for Quentin Tarantino. At the same time, though, there are other movies as well that did get a couple of Golden Globes, including 1917, which won for Best Director and Best Picture for a Drama. There is Joker, which won for Best Original Score and won Best Actor in a Drama for Joaquin Phoenix. There is also Rocketman, which won for Best Actor for a musical or comedy for Taron Egerton, and also for Best Song for I'm Gonna Love Me Again. And then when you got the TV shows, there are a few notable ones where you got Chernobyl, Succession, and Fleabag, in which those ones actually won 2 Golden Globes each. But considering that this is AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, what we are going to be highlighting here is going to be regarding Best Animated Film, because that's the big one where all the animation stuff is. I mean, technically there is also Best Original Song, where Into the Unknown from Frozen 2 is nominated, but again, it didn't win. The real winner of that is the Rocketman song, I'm Gonna Love Me Again. Now, for Best Animated Feature, I just have to say, it is probably the most unexpected winner of them all. Despite the fact that there was some heavy competition, and even Disney taking the grand majority of the nominations with 3 of them, with their big movies like Frozen 2, The Lion King remake, and Toy Story 4, the winner turned out to be none other than Laika's Missing Link. Where the fridge is it? I just need to find it. Yes, alright, here it is. Among all the nominees, from Frozen 2 to How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, The Lion King, and Toy Story 4, Missing Link ended up becoming the big winner. And if you guys have actually seen the Golden Globes, it was the most shocking moment. Nobody was ever expecting that, and even on social media, everyone was blowing their minds of the fact that Missing Link was the winner. And it's also funny to go and highlight that even the people who came forward and accepted the award, I think the director and writer Chris Butler was one of them who accepted it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, these people came in and they were like, am I supposed to be here? Why did I get this? Isn't this supposed to be like Disney's thing? Why am I taking this thing? Like, even they were, they did not expect it. They were unprepared. It was the most shocking thing ever. So, with all that said, I just need to go and take a moment to give my little opinion, my little piece about Missing Link being the big winner. Now, if I may go and express a little bit about my opinions on the movies of 2019, or more specifically the animated films of 2019, Missing Link, I would say that it is a good film, and it definitely is worth watching. And on top of that, I would even go as far and say that it definitely is the most underrated animated film of 2019. However, I wouldn't necessarily say that it would be the best animated film of 2019. Even for me, I do prefer many of the other animated films that have been nominated. You know, I do have more of a preference for movies like Frozen 2, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, and Toy Story 4. So, while Missing Link is a good film, I wouldn't necessarily say it's my favorite because there are a few flaws with it written-wise. Like, the animation is absolutely phenomenal, but in terms of the writing, it can be a little bit predictable, and it does take a bit of time for the characters to even be likable or to get used to them. So, that's the thing. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like a worst movie, but it's definitely far from something like Coraline or Kubo and the Two Strings. But at the same time, if I could be very honest, I could not be any more happier for Missing Link to be the winner amongst all of them. Because if you look at each of the nominations, you gotta realize that there is only one animated feature that is actually original. That is its own property. It is not an adaptation, and it is not a sequel. Because you look at every single one, like the grand majority of them are properties that already existed before. Like, you got 3 of them that are sequels. Like, you got the second Frozen film, you got the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, and you got the 4th Toy Story feature. And then you also got The Lion King, which is a full-on shot-to-shot remake of the animated film. So these are already movies that have established characters that everybody loves. That these are characters that everybody likes, enjoys, and they already have a bit of a set bias that people can either feel nostalgic for these characters or that they really did enjoy the previous feature, so they want to come back for seconds or thirds or whatever. But then you got Missing Link, which is its own original thing. This was a completely original movie, and barely anyone saw it. Like, if you saw the total amount it did at the box office, I think it only made, like, what, $16 million, and that's it. It's a box office bomb. Barely anyone saw it, and that is mainly because it was released around the same time as Avengers Endgame. But then suddenly, this little original animated feature came out on top, beat the odds, and took down many of the big contenders, especially taking down Disney, in which it has 3 of them. Disney had 3 chances of winning Best Animated Feature, but it did not get it. That they already got, like, Frozen 2, they got Toy Story 4, they got The Lion King. Like, they were set for this, and these are some of the biggest animated films, not just of the year, but also ever. Like, you got The Lion King, that's the highest grossing animated feature, and then you already got, like, Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2 that have already surpassed $1 billion at the box office. And not to mention, you got How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, which it shouldn't be forgotten considering that it is still a strong contender and even performed very well when it was released in theaters. Like, it did get a good amount of praise by critics, and also it did very well at the box office, getting over $500 million at the box office. It still did a great job on its own, and we're talking about 4 of the most successful animated features of 2019. And yet, it's almost like, technically, this is the closest thing that we have gotten ever for Missing Link. What I mean is more, this is the closest thing that we have gotten for an independent animated feature to actually win a Golden Globe Award. And by the way, this is, with Missing Link, by the way, this is actually a first for many things. because not only is this the first ever Golden Globe win for Laika, because beforehand they would always end up getting shafted by either a Disney film or another movie or something like that. This is not only their first win, but also this is the first time ever for a stop-motion animated feature to win a Golden Globe Award. So Missing Link really made some very significant history here. And honestly, I really did love it. Like, I remember even at the time, it was funny because I think I coincidentally turned on the TV, and it was at the moment where they were showing off the best animated feature category after that failed little skit with Amy Poehler and Taylor Swift. They were trying to do some stupid joke, and it did not make sense. It was like, oh, shut up and give us the nominations and tell us the winner already. And then suddenly they said Missing Link. I remember when I watched it, I was at a state of shock at first. Like, I was completely stunned that the last name that I would expect to hear would actually be the winner of them all for the Golden Globes. And then afterwards, I felt very happy. And like I said before, a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's the only original animated film on the list of nominations that ended up becoming the winner. And this is something that I have grown to really appreciate and support more, to really value originality over already existing properties, value it over remakes, adaptations, sequels, or whatever, because when it comes to original animated features, there's a lot running to it. There's a lot running for it, or there's a lot there's a lot of obstacles it has to face compared to something that already exists before, like compared to an adaptation or a sequel or a follow-up or what have you, stuff like that. In a way, it does remind me a bit of last year's award season when I was one of the very few minorities where I was actually rooting more for Isle of Dogs to get the gold for Best Animated Feature more so than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Because when you do look at Isle of Dogs, it's a little bit of the same thing, where Isle of Dogs was pretty much up against a lot of sequels and adaptations like Incredibles 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I believe there was also Mirai that was nominated. It was a Japanese animated feature as well, but the big thing is that Isle of Dogs is one of the few original features that was up against all those, or at least one of the few mainstreamish animated features. And I know that a lot of people were rooting for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but the reason why I was valuing more Isle of Dogs more so than Spider-Verse is mainly because there is something that Isle of Dogs has that Spider-Verse doesn't. And that is full-on originality. It doesn't depend on being something that already exists and that people already have an established bias for. It's coming in fresh, something that we have never seen before. And with Spider-Verse, people already kind of have this bias for Spider-Man, that they want to see a cool Spider-Man movie, and it does deliver on that, so it does cater to that fan base, and people are going fully crazy over it. That, and also, with Spider-Verse, that is a film that is really more style over substance. Now, this is not to say that Spider-Verse doesn't have any substance at all. In fact, it does have good substance, but it's definitely clear that it definitely prefers its style of animation over the quality of its writing. Whereas Isle of Dogs, on the other hand, that is definitely a movie where it is substance over style. Now, of course, there is some style, but you can tell with Isle of Dogs, that's more of a movie that values its writing and its story much more than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Again, I know I'm in the minority, and a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but that is why I feel like Isle of Dogs deserves more awards than what Spider-Verse has received, because the Isle of Dogs is the one that took a lot more risks as an original animated feature. And even though Spider-Verse was the one that ended up getting the most awards, in this case here, this is like if we did live in an alternate dimension where Isle of Dogs did get the win, where Isle of Dogs would be viewed as the big winner at the award season for animated films. And right now, it's Missing Link that's the one that's taking its place. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. For the sake of original animated features, this is a total win. And not just that, but also also for stop motion films as well. Because on top of being the first ever stop motion animated film to win the Golden Globe Award and also Laika's first Golden Globe win, this is also the first time ever for this category at the Golden Globes that it has been given to an animated film that is not CGI. If you look at the previous list, all the winners were computer animation. It was just one computer animated feature over another. And then suddenly, Missing Link is the one that broke everything and decided to try something new with stop motion. Now, yes, there is some computer animation in Missing Link, that is true, but it is primarily stop motion. So this is definitely a major win, not just for Laika, but also for many different fields of animation. And that's where I feel like it is truly exciting, and that's why I couldn't be more prouder that it is Missing Link. Even though, like, my personal favorite is Toy Story 4. I would have loved to see that win as well, but the fact that an original animated film is the one that trumped over Toy Story 4, that's where I feel proud. That's what honestly, that's where I feel satisfied. It's like, okay, you know what? I'll take it. I feel happy about it. So, with that said, overall, as I said before, even though Missing Link is not necessarily my personal choice of the best animated film of 2019, I am definitely happy to see that it is the big winner for best animated film over Frozen 2, over Toy Story 4, over Lion King, and over The Hidden World, over all the Disney films that suddenly Laika is the one that is the big winner. And personally, I would just like to say, if there is one lesson that we would have to take from this, if there is something that if there is one thing that we should learn from Missing Link's win, is that it really shows us that there is a big difference between getting nominated and then who won. Because even though, like you look at the list, even though it is Disney taking the grand majority, that doesn't necessarily mean they would be the ones coming out as the big winner. Because you never know who could legitimately win. Even though Disney's the one that's taking the most, and most of them are pretty justifiable why they have won in the first place, you never know. Like, even though they got the most nominations, but that's nothing compared to being the big winner. It means nothing when compared to actually getting the Golden Globe Award. Disney can have all the nominations it wants, but it's Laika the one walking away with the trophy. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and now I want to go and ask you guys, what do you think about Missing Link's win? Do you think it deserves to win Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes? Do you feel like maybe there's something else that deserves it? How do you feel about Missing Link being the winner? Let me know what you all think, guys. All right, tell me. Let's see. Do we have some comments? I'm surprised it's getting a little slow, but okay. I could work with this. Okay. Let's see. Disney BTFO'd. How did they recover? That aside, give my creative blessings to Laika for netting themselves a very rare and historic win. The win also demonstrates a past point made about people being burned out from franchises, sequels included. Yeah, that definitely is true. Let's see. I am so happy for Missing Link. I was in tears when I saw it was the big winner at the Golden Globes. This is the only film that's not from Disney or Pixar to win this since Spider-Verse. Well, I mean, Spider-Verse was last year, so I mean, it wasn't that long ago. And Missing Link is a very enjoyable film. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it does have some very great qualities about it. And I am very happy for Laika and director Chris Butler. By the way, quick question. Do you think that Laika is an underdog company in terms of their movies' reputation and attention? Well, I would say kind of. Because the thing is, I mean, yes, their movies are very, like, they are the underdogs in the way that they're not getting as much attention. But when it comes to the movies themselves and their reputation, I think honestly they're not really underdogs because they consistently have a great reputation. Like when the name Leica does appear in the animation community, a lot of people do look at it with admiration. And even though there's not necessarily a lot of movies in their library, they do bring out some very strong ones, especially with Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings. So I would say kind of, like, yes, they are underdogs in terms of attention, but when it comes to their reputation, they're already doing much better than most animation studios, actually. Let's see. Let's be real, folks. Who the hell expected Missing Link to win? Not that it's a problem, since it's a really fun movie, and it's honestly surprising how an underdog box office bomb beat out $3 billion movies that came from the biggest company in cinema is just incredible. And considering how Klaus didn't get a nomination, I'll personally take what I can get. Exactly, dude. That's one of the big things. You just gotta take what you can get. Probably the same as how Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit won for Best Animated Feature. Oh crap, did Wallace and Gromit actually win? Oh crap. Oh man, I might have to take back what I said about I don't remember. Did Wallace and Gromit win the Golden Globe? I know it won the Oscar, but I'm drawing a blank if it actually won the Golden Globe award. I might have to take back my previous comments about, like, oh, the first time that a stop motion film got a Golden Globe. I do apologize for that little piece of misinformation. That's just me being dumb. Like, you could correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Let's see now. The Golden Globe. Oh, that Golden Globe didn't exist yet. Oh, okay. Oh, I just had a flash. That's right, because they started with the 2006 movies. Okay, so I am still correct on that one. All right, I take it back. All right, I got this. Okay, it's good. It's good. I'm okay. I still got my facts checked. I still got it right. Okay, good. All right. Anyways, hopefully the Missing Link will inspire more stop motion films in the future to win future global awards. Maybe not for the Oscars, but at least it's something that can be proud of. But I do have to ask, is it better to be a box office success or to be an award winner? That is a very good question, but honestly, I think in terms of the success of a movie, it would have to be a box office success. In order to help out the company to do better, in order for them to produce more films, money is on top of everything, even on top of awards and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, like you do get like little bonus points if you do get awards, but that it's another story about being a big box office winner. Anyways, let's see what other comments there are. I was surprised to see Missing Link to win, but I am happy to see it win, not just Leica, but for stop motion out there. I do wonder if the Academy members would pick this, since they are more favorable to originality over sequels from what I've heard. Also, happy for Tarantino to win some awards, including Best Picture in a comedy or musical. I guess we do live in an alternate reality where Sony wins more awards than Disney does, right? Leica is not Disney, just letting you know. Like, yeah, Sony may have won last year for that one good movie that they've made, but, you know, it's just, like, just settle down on that. Like, not everything that's not Disney is Sony, you know. And honestly, thank God for that. Oh, let's see. I'll read one more comment before we're going to jump into the next story. Let's see. I'll read one more. Here we go. I'm surprised that Missing Link won, and I'm really proud of Leica for that win. For the most part, it somewhat makes up for the box office disappointment. Yeah, I guess you could say so. So I guess, with that said, I'll conclude this little piece of story, and I'll say congratulations to the people at Leica for the surprising Golden Globes win, and also best of luck for next week, or in a few days as I am recording this, when the Academy Awards will be coming out with their nominations. And that's going to be interesting to check out and to keep an eye on, because I think now, for the first time in a long time, the Best Animated Feature category is going to be quite unpredictable.